a friend of mine said, "Oh, I know a guy who's got a ticket. Come over to the house, and I'll
Get a ticket
introduce
to
you
where?
to Hershey."
Oh yeah, we're rolling. Hit it! So fucking typical, I don't know what to do. I'm on the Scotch and I'm feeling kind of woo. Think you're scary, but I don't know what to do. Got a boo, coo coo choo. Hey! So fucking typical, I don't know what to do. I'm on the Scotch and I'm feeling kind of woo. Think you're scary, but I don't know what to do. Got a boo, coo coo choo. Hey! Welcome back to the lot. Hey guys, how you doing? You know what's actually kind of sweet about this? We had our last damn lot, and then it turns out, as a surprise to me, I don't know how you guys, if you expect it or not, but they're not done with DAAM.
No,
We get another doubleheader dinner and a movie, and I'm fucking pumped for it.
they got finished counting their money after summer and fall broadcasts, and they were like, "We can throw a bone to the people."
I think now it's part of the cycle, right? Like at this point, it's established. I don't think this is a pandemic related, one. I think that's just they have it in their arsenal. And Thanksgiving, except for a small portion of 1.0, has largely been void of a lot of fish this weekend.
Right.
So now they have something they could throw in there. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
On Wook Friday, one of my favorite holidays of the year. All the good Wook deals. It goes from 1 for 3, 2 for 5. It goes to 1 to 2, 2 for 4 on Wook Friday.
Right. There is a Wook Friday deal at our wookplus.com merch. You get nothing off, but you will be supporting the channel. So
What a deal, really, in some ways.
So we are joined tonight by the Wody. What's up, Scott?
Hello, everyone.
Now you're here, A, because we love you and we love having you on the show, but B, because you were actually at this this festival, the Clifford Ball, and so is Kev, actually. So I figured it would be fun to maybe take a little stroll down memory lane, because obviously I think everybody, or at least most of us, have heard these nights multiple times, right? With the official release, the team, someone around and everything. But to be there, what was that like? Don't remember, right?
Not much. I mean, we're talking 25 plus years ago. I remember it was far to Plattsburgh, but not too far. Probably like half the distance for me as it was to, say, Limestone, for like where the Great Went and Lemon Wheel were.
Yeah.
And don't forget
it could have been further, man. I don't even know. And it was one that I wasn't at, but yes, it was also there. But yeah. I think I remember, as you got closer, there were fucking Wooks everywhere. I mean, especially like, once you got down to like the final couple exits or whatever, there wasn't like, if you had to stop to get cigarettes or beer or anything at any point as you were getting close, everybody, like all the people knew what fish was at that point, because heads had just been coming through all day long. And
yeah,
I loved that about.
You don't really get that anymore, I feel like.
No, but in Limestone, definitely. It was like the people would be very excited that you were coming. I don't remember it as clearly from Plattsburgh as, say, I do from Maine, but I do know that it was there as well. And that was always one of my favorite things about going to the festivals, was like changing the culture of the town that they were playing in. And it was like all the people were like, I don't know if that's their real selves or not, but they're all saying like, keep it groovy. And, like, I just feel like it's like switching it up.
They busted out a tie-dye.
Yeah.
It was good to go.
But I went with 3 of my friends. And I I mean, I guess the biggest thing I remember outside of any of the music would be just the massive amount of people. Like I'd never seen, I was all of like 19 years old at the time. I had never seen that many people in one
all
spot,
together,
like live and in person anywhere ever. And it was surreal, man. It was quite the adventure.
I mean, that wasn't even that as common. I mean, obviously nowhere near as common in the 90s as it is now to have that big of a festival.
There were none.
No,
Yeah,
Like there was like Woodstock, right?
The closest thing I saw to a festival before that was Dylan and Tom Petty and the Dead playing at RFK, but they toured that to stadiums. I mean, this was like the impetus, like Fam and I had talked about, of like Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo came to Fish and said, "Hey, tell us how to put on a festival like you did."
Yeah,
you know,
100%. And you know, I think in some ways the concert and the promotion side of the world had moved away from festivals because some bad things had happened at festivals, right? And so it got kind of, I don't know, people just got a little bit nervous about having large events like this because of the security issues and different things, you know. And so Fish, I think that was the model that they really saw that was possible, was to go to the middle of nowhere, right? That was, I think, one of the pieces that was so important, like Scott's saying, you know, that if you could get in a place where it literally was just your people, by the time you had now become like the biggest city in the county you're in now, you know, and
or third biggest in the state,
right?
Limestone.
Exactly. So, you know, it becomes this takeover, like you mentioned, and you're exactly right, Kev, that it became a model for what eventually became Bonnaroo, all of Coachella's of the world.
Everybody has a festival now. You get a festival. You get a festival.
The Lollapalooza became a, you know, more of a traveling festival for a while, but you know, it became a thing. But you got to remember, most festivals that we're all talking about here are multi-band festivals, you know, and the idea that a band could pull this off with just one band, it was also very impressive.
Did that practice ever go into other genres outside of the jam scene? Because I know like there's a lot of other jam bands that have festivals that are just of one artist, but like do others like country artists that have the like country festival, but it's just them, or is it always a bunch of bands?
I think it's called a residency when it's at a bar like that, and it's like 4 or 5 nights.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's almost always multiple bands. I mean, it's so rare that, and that may be the piece that still is completely unique for Fish, in that, you know, you just really don't see it because there's at least a couple bands, you know.
Right. Even the Dead, like in '88, they played up in Maine at Lewistown or whatever, but they had Little Feat with them. There was somebody else on the bill, you know.
Accurate. It's a really interesting thing. And in some ways, you always wonder, like, when that decision was made, that they said, we're playing with no one. We are never going to have an opener.
It was made when Trey was born, because I think it's just ingrained in him. Like, he wants to have the creative control and, you know, and own the whole thing, because he looks at the festival from start to finish as a piece itself, right? I think like a piece of art.
The one of the coolest things about
no fucking
Ball,
way.
Good one. I think one of the coolest things about the Clifford Ball is the lack of accuracy with the amount of people that actually attended.
Right, they were saying 25.
Anywhere from like 70 to 120,000 people,
but they were expecting like 25, weren't they?
Fucking call it 80,000 or whatever. Right. But it's like they learned something from the Clifford Ball and actually have like accurate numbers for the rest of the festivals, because they really. Right. They don't fucking know how many people were there, and I got to tell you, it was a lot more than was at
my buddy
Wheel or any of the other ones I've been to. So,
how many people do you think were there?
I think every bit of 100,000 people.
Really? I don't know. I was very in my own little cocoon. You know, when you're at a festival like that, you're hanging out with the people you hang out with, and
I mean, there were 80,000 people at Bonnaroo in 2012. If I remember correctly. And again, that was however many fucking bands playing, not just Fish.
Tell us about the logistical piece of like getting in. That could tell you a lot in some ways. Was it, because obviously Cyprus, half the story in some ways of Cyprus was getting in, and getting out, and was also equally hard.
I think it took us from getting off whatever that was, 87 or 80, I guess it was 82. Once you got off, I think it took us 90 minutes from the exit to get to the front gate.
Wow.
They weren't really checking people. It was basically like, you got enough tickets. Did you buy the parking pass for $20 extra or whatever it was to camp overnight?
Minutes.
I think the first 4 festivals for me were all very similar to that, where getting in really wasn't a problem. I think it was the Lemon Wheel I had the hardest time getting out of. I mean, it fucking took forever.
Oh, well, getting out was another story. We waited, and then we were there like...
Well, yeah, a lot of people would leave right after the music. We would stay and like try to sleep in as late as possible and leave after everybody else did. But that really screwed us one year in Lemon Wheel. But
because that's what became the story in so many ways, horribly, obviously with Coventry, became a complete logistical disaster.
Weather disaster is what led to that mostly.
Sure, kind of unavoidable, but also part of that problem was, we got there early and got in with our vehicle, but still that took us, it was a good 12 hours, 14 hours before we got in, and we thought we were pretty lucky because Cyprus was
14. I spent 14 hours on Alligator Alley.
Exactly. Oh, we did 18 at Cyprus. My wife was with us. How many hours was it? Probably a good 17 hours, to get in.
Jesus.
And that just absolutely
have any of that trouble.
Well, now those days are behind us though, because they go like 3.0 festivals were always at a venue that was designed to handle that kind of traffic and had the infrastructure built in. I feel like the days of building a city in the middle of nowhere are gone. Sadly, right? I get it from a business logistics standpoint, but from the creative perspective of a fan, it's sad.
For Darien, for the one of 97, the Great
back in.
We left after Darien Lake, drove right up the Main, and we got up there, and like 4 p.m, the day before it starts, we decide to drive by the site and check it out, and we see like 10 cars in line. So we pull up in line. We were the 11th car in, and we were there like a full 24 hours before any music even started or anything.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's amazing.
Just weird luck.
So were you guys tell me, did you have enough food? Were you prepared as festival goers? I'm curious, at how the community kind of took this first festival, because, after we became kind of pros at it, after you've been to a couple, whether, it's, a Bonnaroo or a multi-festival thing, or you've been to at least a few fish festivals, you kind of know how to make it through the couple days, I'm curious how that first, because everyone was a festival noob,
I was not a noob. We used to go down to Brandywine, Maryland, and Tim Walther, who does Walther Productions, All Good Productions now, would put on these things with a bunch of local bands, and it was a camping thing overnight over 2 days. So and my go-to was to buy a bag of rolls and Budding's lunch meats that are 99 cents in the packets, and I buy like 6 or 7 of them, and I could have a couple sandwiches, and I figured I'd find a slice or somebody selling something.
And you would sell merch and stuff, right? Until Amy would get you, right?
Yeah, until Amy came. Yeah, I had University Game Edge stickers that looked like University of Maryland or something stickers. And she came up and she was like, how much? I was like, $3. And she's like, I'm going to have to take them. And I threw the 4 in my hand at her and took off running. I was going to get thrown out.
Selling merch to Amy. A classic, definitely not a noob move at all, because Kevin's never been a noob at anything. Kevin was a veteran at wearing diapers as a baby. He wore them in the womb, actually.
I'm just curious if Kev was in better shape back then and could actually run away quicker.
Oh, yeah, I was 25. I look good. I was like the body Donis or something,
You haven't seen those pictures, T?
No. From the scrapbook?
Yeah. You look like a spun out Wook going to the Clifford Ball.
So
like
again,
6 pictures
I
of me
mean,
in 1.0. Maybe
this-
there's like 6 pictures the whole time, you know.
Well,
This
yeah, because we
being-
were already taking cameras into shows back then because it was like a real camera, and you couldn't get them in. Like they were so much straight. It wasn't on your phone, so like you couldn't get.
They're all
things in.
disposable camera parking lot pictures that are blurry, fucking sun bleed.
Right. Maybe the tapers were able to get cameras in with some of their equipment sometimes, sneak those things in, but that was like the only way you were really getting cameras in back then.
were you there, Trav?
No, I wasn't. No, not at the festivals.
He
I
was
didn't make
busy
any
in
of the
Colorado
festivals.
seeing Red Rocks.
Yeah, I didn't make any festivals until Festival 8 when it finally got to the West Coast.
Gotcha.
Like I've never been back east really that much.
Are we
Yeah,
going
it's
to
just-
talk spoilers about what they play, or are people still
I think
thinking
that's
they're going to?
fair. No, I mean this is a pretty well known.
Did anybody have the DVD?
So
I never bought
do.
it.
I have the whole
Oh,
thing.
speaking of,
I have the entire thing here. It's 7 CDs. It's not cut up like the It Festival was. It's the full thing, the full gamut, plus some bonus shit. It actually comes with a pretty cool book, lots of colorful pictures and site maps and everything in here.
Is this a Skytum?
It was. I didn't get into this much detail, and then it came.
Wait, you're
Okay.
highlighting the wrong guy, Llama.
So then it came with all these cool fucking postcards, right?
oh, nice.
So how do I do this? Oh yeah.
There you go.
So they were like little postcards you could send off, and there's like 8 of them. They're very cool. This one's like,
Right.
and then it's got like Trey Face. But these are all, I think these are all Danny Clinch photos.
Cool. Can you explain Sitem while you're showing them?
Skytum.
Yes.
Can you pronounce any words?
No.
Dude,
Actually,
it's
it looks
a
much
thing,
better.
man. He does it for the attention.
This is like, this is like one of the more famous pictures from the Clifford Ball.
Yes, that is
Just perfect with Fishman in the background and shit.
the iconic.
And then that's a look at like that fucking crowd is massive, man. Just massive.
I remember turning around.
Yeah,
I was
Nick.
standing at the taper section, turning around and thinking,
Peach.
we're many. We like fishes mated. I couldn't believe that there were that many people there.
It's wild.
And it was the best crowd ever. There was no pretension. Nobody was cooler than anybody because we were all in it together for the first time.
Dude, this was so unbelievably like overwhelming, but on every level. Like I had never seen, this was my second and third show, basically. The first and second night were my second and third shows ever.
Oh
And
wow.
to walk into that experience, of I mean, I had nothing else to compare it to except maybe like the circus and going camping, but then like there's a concert too, and like. But I'm
And a
saying
bunch of freaks
everything.
walking around.
People walking by with just buds in their hand, selling their shit, and like balloons, and then
we were
fucking-
joking. Am I in America still? Are
I've
we
never
still in
seen
America?
any fucking thing like this, and like people surviving off selling beer and water and food, and like just it was intense on so many different levels.
The thing we talked about the whole
Like-
way home was next year, if they do a festival, we're bringing 30 cases of beer with us. We totally missed out on selling beer. That was our whole conversation.
Well, and that also says a lot about the time, because like that was back when it was not hard, but harder to sneak shit into shows. Like you were still aware of security, like actually checked you for drugs and even weed and pipes and stuff. And so to be in a festival area like that, where it's so abundant and so much around you it's kind of a new, I don't want to say, but like kind of an overwhelming or different experience. Cause you're like, holy shit, access to everything I want is right here, as opposed to like trying to get into most shows where you're like trying to sneak it in or like doing it in the parking lot or like
put it in your bra, babe. Put it in your bra.
Exactly. And I mean, now you don't even think about it. I mean, I don't even think about it anymore, like because weed's so legal now and pretty much you can get anything into the shows, I feel like. But back then it was a lot different. So I mean, I'm sure that was a weird thing to see that many people.
You know,
they were like in the
It
future.
wasn't in a way, because there was definitely police presence there,
Mhm.
but they didn't interfere with a
Right, but they weren't there to
fucking
bust
They
you
look
for
like
that.
Mounties. They look
And,
like
like,
Mounties.
You'd
They
look
have,
around
red
like, oh,
coats.
this dude's selling 7 different drugs. He's just yelling it to people as he walks by. There's no way these cops aren't hearing this dude. Like every 30 seconds was another like mind blown, like what the fuck is this paradise land that we're in? Like,
Right. But for them to care, they'd have to be arresting so many people. And it's probably way more work for them unless you're like really, selling some PCP or some crazy shit to like young kids or
so
something. They're not
wild.
really
Those
gonna go
guys
after
were
you.
hired though by the band, and they're there for public safety. In a lot of ways,
Right.
it's a model that we should have as a country, right? They're like, they weren't there to bust people and fuck with people. They were getting overtime to sit on their ass, and
There was a fight.
if shit got out of control and there was like a surge or something, then they step in. But as long as people are just keeping their own, like, who gives a fuck?
Yep.
It's awesome.
I don't know. I just felt like my only other show to compare it to before that was The Garden, which is, I don't know, to me was way more frightening of police presence on the streets of New York than it was.
Right.
Wait, your first show was MSG?
Yeah, 12/30/95.
Wow.
Nice.
And then I went to the Clifford Balls in 96. And then
Jesus Christ, man.
yeah.
Are you like just angry all the time?
Next night.
Am I angry?
Yeah.
Well, like you start at such a high level. It's like you'll never get back to that level. That's a crazy run.
I don't know. That last fall tour was.
Yeah, I heard that.
It was fun stuff. So yeah, I got the Clifford Ball on the quilt next to me. That was part of Skydom. And then we got
Show and tell.
ticket stub number 1 from tonight's viewing.
Nice. I don't know if I have it.
And then this is ticket stub number 2 from the next night. They're a little beat the fuck up, as you can see.
And it's still impressive. It's still in pretty good shape for being that old.
And then
I love the old Ticketmaster stubs. They're great. It's the only good thing about Ticketmaster.
I have the bracelet from Friday.
That's what I was going to ask.
Nice.
Bracelets.
Nice.
And then I have the bracelet from Saturday. So I guess these are our numbers, right? So maybe we're like the 45,000 people or whatever to come in. I'm not sure if that's how
I
it
was
works.
34,000 and 36 or
Yeah,
something.
and you said you were like 11th in line, so probably not what that means. But
oh no, that the Clifford Ball I wasn't. That was great.
Info sheets that I kept from the Clifford Ball. These are actually still in really good shape, but they're kind of hard to.
Do you got the booklet?
Come through. Yo, no, I saw your little booklet thing today, and I was like, why the fuck don't I have that? I have everything. I got the tour extra from the Clifford Ball. I mean, I got all.
Wait, why don't we just put
but
these?
I don't have that little book.
And just let you guys talk.
That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got.
That's it. That's it. I don't even have my
just figured
ticket
it out,
anymore.
and now you don't have anything else to share.
Well, I tell you what. No, I tell you how I got there. I went to buy a ticket for Hershey, and the guy who has the ticket.
Oh,
and I
good.
meet
This
him
story again.
at my friend's house. And it turns out I went to high school when I was in a private Catholic high school in 9th grade with this guy. He's like, I remember you, man. You were the best till you got kicked out. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, I got tickets for the Clifford Ball, the thing after Hershey. Do you want to go up there? And I was like, sure, why not?
Nice.
So that's how I ended up going there. I packed a backpack, bought some of my budding's lunch meat, went to Hershey and drove up to Plattsburgh.
But that little booklet you got, they gave that to you when you went in?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't remember. I
And
don't
as
know
soon
why.
as they
I don't
handed
think
it
I've
to me-
ever seen that. So I don't
They
know what
handed it
happened to
to-
mine.
They handed it to me and I put it right in the glove box. I didn't even open it and look at it. So that's why it's in
Interesting.
good condition still.
You just get it out of the glove box today?
Yes, I just got it back out of the glove box earlier.
Got that wooden wagon.
Before I completely forget, I do want to say, remind everybody to come back tomorrow. We're gonna have another lot before tomorrow night's DAAM. And we got a couple of guests tomorrow night. Fam, you want to tell everybody who's coming on tomorrow?
Sure. We've got really in some ways an all-star lineup of folks coming in.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, it's incredible. We'll start with We'll start with Cubs Girl. Our friend Julie, who was the comic relief Wook of the Year for comedy, which is we're very excited to have Julie on. We are also having one of the oldest Wooks, known to man, Wolfenhaus. Wolfenhaus is making a comeback to the lot.
They're dusting him off and bringing him out.
Great, like out of carbonite, like Han Solo. This guy has been. I mean, he was at the original Clifford Ball, which was actually during the Stone Age,
as opposed to the fake Clifford Ball.
Yeah, exactly.
The ball that fish mimicked.
Right, exactly. And really, in some ways, wow. So someone's very, very special. Our guy, the editor in chief of Jambase. Personally, from way back, a fan. For me, my biggest, like, just adored him from Hidden Track, the YEM blog. Our guy Scotty Bernstein is going to be on as well. Hey, Scotty B. So just an incredible lineup of folks. I think maybe even Ha might call in on it's just a party lot. It's a party lot with all
like old, original.
Yeah. Is it going to be longer than is it going to be longer than a lot is normally?
It may never end. Really, in some ways,
they just keep going.
We've been having a perpetual lot. We just kind of eat here. I look up baseball cards of Don Ass. I don't know. Don Ass.
Oh, nice poll.
Yeah, thank you. This is one of my favorite cards, old Don Ass. He's a Met, so I knew Llama would like him. So that's what we do all day. And then eventually we hit record, and then here we are with you guys. Oh, thank you, Heather.
Yeah, so tune in tomorrow. That's gonna be fun.
Yes.
Also,
more fun than you could shake a stick at.
We're back live on Wednesday night with another live.
Oh,
not taped, full 100% live on live. So join us Wednesday night.
We could talk some of the music about Clifford Ball. Is that
something? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we should do that.
What did they came out like gangbusters, didn't they? Like to open that first night?
Right into Chalk Dust, right?
Yes, it was so amped up. It was like, you could tell just the energy from the crowd when they hit that. It was like everybody was like, all right, we did it. This is gonna happen. This is
that 96 Trey, and that what the hell was that? Like that mustardy kind of greenish velvety fucking what the hell was he wearing? That weird shirt.
Oh yeah, the like velvety what would he used to call that? Maybe that's that rayon stuff. Remember rayon was a cool thing for a while.
Fucking shirt. It was like
and was that the night Mike had the capris on?
He always had the capris going to the rolled up jeans. Yeah, that's a solid look. Tight roll
look.
Yeah, that's an A+ look. This really gets on fire in this bathtub gin, right?
Gin is really good.
Oh, this gin is so underrated. I did want to talk about this Yamar because it's got the old school hey, which I had totally kind of forgotten about. I hadn't listened to an old school Yamar in a while. And it just like I was like, oh man, they used to do that, and they don't do it anymore.
Mike can't hit that note anymore.
Maybe
that might be it.
It's not a politically correct note to hit.
I also
maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable doing it. I don't think it's that, maybe I don't know.
It may not be also culturally appropriate, honestly. In some ways, it already is a weird kind of cover of a cover, right? That song is a
cover of a cover.
Already a saying.
Valor.
There it is. Valor. You nailed it.
Skoy, yes, Wolfie has been on before.
Yes.
Yeah,
way back in the day. Yeah. That's an old school.
Pretty much at this point, everybody's been on the channel at least once, right?
Except for the band members. Then that's when that's when it's then it really happens.
It's real.
Yeah. Esther, they play Esther here. AC/DC.
Esther.
I do remember there being like actual elements of a Divided Sky either before or as Divided Sky started. Like the actual sky was somewhat divided, and it was quite something.
They picked. Somebody checked when the sunset was and planned to do that song when the sunset was, even though they don't plan things.
Oh,
they plan something. They plan something.
The festival set, and that could have hit him literally. He's seeing the same sunset you guys are in some ways, just opposite views of it.
What do you? Yeah, he's seeing it better than most people because most of the people are looking at him. He's looking at the sky. Do you think it was planned out, or do you think he just sees a beautiful sunset and he's like, "Fuck, let's play Divided Sky"?
I think Trey was like, "I'm going to have 80,000 plus people, and when the sun sets, I'm going to do Divided Sky because I want to hit the pause right as the sun goes down over the
Wasn't
trees.
that plane flying around like the glider?
Yeah, the plane. Yeah,
And
I
it's
forget what.
in
And
this
there was some
pause,
issue with the.
I can't wait
That's
to
tomorrow.
watch
We'll talk
this.
about that tomorrow.
this is the longest pause too. Like he pauses forever. Like, and maybe I feel like I always say this on every one of these.
I think every time I see Divine Sky, I'm like, holy shit, this feels like the longest pause ever.
I know. but
15
this
seconds.
one-
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's
But this one seriously feels extra long, and it kind of maybe it's because it's slow to get into it. Like it gets really, really quiet. Like you don't even know, but they're still playing.
like,
Almost
are we
like-
still in pause?
Right,
Like-
and then it finally really kicks into pause. And this Haley's is phenomenal. And then the
No,
segue
was
is
Haley's was something that wasn't that common. That's when it kind of started to come back. Was around this time, right?
it's only 6 minutes, but it's
Yeah,
fire.
it segued into Bowie. Bowie was pretty good, actually. From
It
what
was
I
a good
remember.
ballet.
That's like actually
That
one
was
of my
like the
go-to
daytime set.
Bowies, though,
What was
because
that,
they
like
have the good
3
footage
o'clock
of it.
set, right?
Right.
The daytime set. Maybe
Bowie,
later.
this
4
Bowie is
o'clock,
nailed.
maybe.
Then he says something about visit the tiki thing. He talks about the best thing is, Trey banter wise is he goes, we'll be playing at least 2 more sets, kind of hinting to the secret set without.
Right.
And that's the piece that really, another thing that people aren't expecting right now. Everybody's like, where's the secret set going to be? What's it going to be? Back then, you guys didn't even know it was going to be a thing,
Right. I didn't get the flat.
yeah.
version.
And then the next set starts with like the really weird. It's Mary Had a Little Lamb for like the first 30 seconds. For some reason, they just dick around with that for a while. And then the split open and melt, which is, the split open and melt. Oh, it's so perfect. It just rages the whole time. Like it's seriously never. It's kind of type 1, but it's like the whole time. But it's like the good kind of type 1 where it just builds, and then you're going, oh, they're gonna do some sort of like minor key weird stuff here, and they're like, no, fuck that.
Most stuff was type 1 in '96, though, wouldn't you say?
This Mike's kind of doesn't, but this Mike's gets off into type 2 land in my mind. I mean, it depends on, who knows what that really kind of means. We'll eventually get to the Mike's. Then you get Sparkle, which we beat Sparkle into the ground on this channel, I think. Somehow
I love Sparkle.
God,
Sparkle's a great tone.
There's nothing
everybody
wrong.
loves Sparkle. How does Sparkle
It's
is
got a cool lyric and it's fast and it's over with.
Yeah.
It's like a quick
Doesn't
little
waste any time.
refresher.
It's the Teflon Don of Fish songs. It's the one song that somehow gets no beef. And it seems like it would, like, why would that song be the universal everybody likes? I can't figure that out
Well,
yet.
it used to
Well,
be
it's
Gumbo,
big-
and then
it's a
you
Tom
decided.
Fair. And then, so Trey,
We have a higher batting average if Tom's part of the writing process. So
true.
that's probably
Right.
why.
That's a huge factor. And then Free is great. Still
It is a good free.
same kind of thing. Oh, it comes back to the lyrics. The lyrics come back in this Free at the end. So it kind of, which I don't remember it doing much nowadays, especially. Then Squirming Coil. And this is actually like a cool Squirming Coil because it's not a walk off Squirming Coil, it's a walk over.
Yeah.
To the mini acoustic.
Well, that was if you look at the set list for those 4 or 5 mini acoustic sets from '96, it was either Paige doing a theremin like Somewhere Over the Rainbow or the Star Trek theme, or it was a Squirming Coil where he could piano solo and it gave him the time in order to move the little stage out. Not that it was planned.
Oh, jeez! Of course they planned that, Kev. Simultaneous, just spontaneous acoustic set. Of course not.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by the word insufferable.
Yeah, exactly. This guy. But here's what blows me away. And you guys tell me kind of how it felt there, I guess, because to me, this is such a huge chance and risk of theirs. And they have to know their audience so well, because what band, right, in a festival setting, 80 to 100,000 people, depending who you talk to, is out there, and you go to a mini for like a 45 minute.
They do like 4 songs, right? Acoustic.
Dirt.
And then
Waste.
they come out of it
No?
with an a cappella tune.
Right.
After
In
the
order to
full
move the
acoustic
set,
room.
in order to remove the mini stage.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. And then you think, well, all right, maybe they're gonna play one more song and be done with it. But no, they
What did
started
they?
fucking
Which
four
songs?
song Mike's
Which
Groove.
songs
and,
did they play this night? Driver? What
No,
Waste.
Waste was definitely played.
Talk, which is an underplayed
Which
song.
never gets
Right.
played anymore, ever.
They should play Talk more.
It was all
Hell
Billy
yeah,
I
Bree
agree.
songs, right?
No,
Yes.
well, Strange Design didn't make the cut for the album,
Right.
but yeah.
He even says that. He goes, we're gonna play a bunch of new songs for you. He plays Train Song,
and
Okay,
Trains.
train song.
Strange Design, which again I'll always mention on this channel. Thank God is not a Dave Matthews song. Thank you, Tom, for somehow interceding or making that not happen.
What a weird
Then no Dave hate, just Strange Design
A
belongs
little
to
Dave
finish.
hate. I can sense a little bit.
A little
Oh,
Dave Shade.
no,
Dave
Dave,
Shade.
he's fine.
Dave Shade.
Little, just a little.
Should Dave be included in a jam band bracket? By the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's fine. Oh, then,
Doing some
so
research.
then you get this like Wody's saying down there. Mike's simple contact weak paw.
The
This
mic set.
section, yeah, is maybe the
Phenomenal.
best section. Like I
it
think there's argument for the
something.
next day, but what do you go? Yeah, what do you guys think? Sorry.
That like I was saying, the 4-song, Mike's Groove there to close that set out after like almost doing the majority of a full set and then taking a break and doing
The mini set.
with I don't know, man, that segue from the into the acoustic set, the Squirming Coil, right, into the acoustic set, and then the acapella, and then you don't get all that in one set anymore, ever.
No,
It just
no.
doesn't happen that
Right.
all of those things happen. And then
I got a theory on that.
song Mike's Groove is like, I mean, that's like the best second half you can have right there. I mean, people, some people like Contact, some people don't, but
I don't think you get sets like that anymore, because I think a lot of that stuff for the band was exercises teaching them how different things work. Then it's been absorbed into the mass that is Fish Type 2 jamming, so they didn't need to do acoustic songs anymore. We're a bluegrass tune every night.
Anyway, we were 2 sets in, and I was so excited for the rest of this week.
That might have been my favorite
I
thing.
remember when that week
was,
of Pog ended, it was like, this is fucking awesome, and I
Laser
don't ever want to
beams.
not do this again. Like, we have to do this all the time.
those 4 Mike songs were very. That was my favorite part of the set.
Yeah,
How
and it gets
much-
into that really funk stuff too. Like 96, people don't give it enough of the funk credit that, and it really gets into that good waka chaka, waka chaka, waka chaka, waka chaka stuff, that I think is phenomenal. And so it's not quite as so dark. Like it gets the mics. I feel like all festival mics are always kind of dark, right? The Cypress mics is super. I was called the fog monster, the Cypress mic is real nasty. But this one also is kind of dark, especially for 96. It's not like it's pretty, it's not like 99, when they got a little more darker, or 2.0, but it's pretty dark. But then once it gets into the simple and in between there and the Contact, again, you get that 97 waka chaka, waka chaka, waka chaka.
And Contact was always like a standalone. It was so cool that they put it in the middle of the sandwich.
That's a good, that was a good ending to that set, man. So such a fun set.
And then we had we went back, and you had time to go back, grab something to eat, have a beer before you came back in for the last set, which is the greatest thing ever. That's all I asked for, is to be able to leave between sets, go take a leak, grab a beer.
Isn't that called a set break?
Yeah, but when you're inside, to get out of the venue, you're like walking outside of the
out to the camping. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
typically it seems like if you've got a three set, festival deal, right? The day set and second set are kind of compacted together a little bit. There's a little less of a break, and typically you might kind of walk the festival grounds. You might do whatever during that time between the two. But then you get, to me, usually a longer break between second and third. To me, and that's like Kev's saying, that's when you can go all the way back to your tent, all the way back to your camp, wherever. I mean, unless it's not 10 miles away, which I have had that problem in the past. But if it's reasonable distance, you can completely start over.
Right.
Where like a normal set break is just like going to the pisser, maybe catching a beer and going right back to your spot, you know. Like
Right.
this feels like, oh man, we got a whole nother like experience in some ways that you can reset for. And if you can make it through it, right? And usually that's the pro set too. The pros are out there for set 3 because a lot of folks sadly have really shot their
over partied, right?
Right.
There was plenty of time between set 1 and set 2 at festivals.
Yeah, but I mean,
set 2 and set 3 was a little tighter of a window because it was already dark out and like they wanted to go.
Yeah,
but, I mean, like you have like almost a full day set for set 1. Maybe they started at 5. Shit,
like 4. I think at Clifford Ball the first set was 4 the first day.
Yeah, so maybe the second set was even part light. I don't really remember, but
the second set's
you
usually
knew the third set was the nighttime set, and that's when they fucking brought it. Like it was maybe they didn't know it yet at the Clifford Ball, but
okay, it says Fish main stage set times. Fish performs 3 sets beginning at 6:30 on Friday, and then on Saturday it was 3:30 for the first set. Then they had the Clifford Ball Orchestra play. They brought that orchestra into play, and everybody could picnic.
That's right, because we just like fucking laid out for that. That was in the middle.
Yeah, I was hanging out at the car, so sleep in a chair.
But this third set tonight, man, this Makasupa, he's just laughing through it at the beginning, and he's just finally like, dank. He's just like, dank. I don't know, and just laughing.
Was that the Goo Ball one, or was that Great Went? That was dank that night?
I think the Great Went might have been Goo Ball.
Yeah,
definitely it was Goo Ball, if I remember correctly.
And then it just melts into this weird thing where he starts talking about sausage. Like he starts going stew sausage or like some sort of weird soup sausage or weird like.
Does that have to do with the sound check jam, the Mr. Sausage jam from the sound check?
That may exactly. It has to be it, dude, because it's so bizarre. And I was like, I know where that reference is somewhere, and I can't place it.
Yeah, they did the Mr. Sausage jam for the sound check.
The sound check.
100%.
Funny is we're actually going to be able to test in real time right after this how good your memory is and your notes are, because it's like instead of being a review, it's a preview.
Right, 100%. But he does that weird thing, so watch for it. This segue between Makasupa and Down with Disease is really fun. What's Llama got up there? I'm always ready when Llama's ready.
Time has completed the circle.
The fuck kind of weird shit was that? Anyway.
But this Down with Disease drop is great. 2001 follows with all kinds of jam sirens and freaking all kinds of weird shit.
Now, is that a long 2001?
No, it's like 6 minutes. They haven't really figured 2001 out yet. That's why, that's why 97's so motherfucking special. Anyway, keep going.
But NICU, it was pretty standard NICU, but fun and all kind of organy, page.
I remember thinking that was weird at the time. It was a weird place for it because that was a first set song to me,
Yeah, Life on Mars, which is an should always. Why is that gone? Why?
That was the best ever. It was so perfect. Under the Stars, that was like the best Beneath the Sea of Stars ever.
Why in the world have Beneath the Sea? This guy.
Great.
That is a good question though. Why that disappeared? Like, what?
It's a really good question, right? I don't understand it. I'm
why
really.
Did Talk disappear? Like, why don't they play that fucking song anymore?
Yeah.
I like that song.
Yeah, great Strax. And then the hood. This is a pretty
good hood. Very good hood.
Pretty solid hood.
Damn good hood.
Damn good hood.
And you get fireworks.
Feel good about that hood.
How was the fireworks show? You guys remember the fireworks?
Amazing. Yeah.
They always
It's like
fireworks show.
part of the spectacle, like just how,
I was
Ferris wheels and all kinds of fucking just carnival shit, man. It was so crazy.
Nice.
Well,
Andrew, my God,
party.
Love that. They always kill the fireworks, and I remember part of what during this Cypress podcast when they were talking about Trey mentioned, for Cypress, the way I understand the order always was for a festival was they would walk in and be like, okay, we want like 10 finales, we want all finales, right? We don't want it to go like kaploo, 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 and then a finale. We want like 10 minutes of finale. That's what
I remember it got better at the Great Went from the Clifford Ball.
Right.
Like Clifford
We
Ball
ain't no
was
little
really
town on a budget. We want
But
fucking
the
fireworks.
Great Went, it was like, I don't know, they went big at the Went.
I just
in
think they got
comparison.
progressively bigger and bigger on the fireworks. And this had the plane. Did this also have the is this the next day where they had the glider person? Didn't they have
Yeah, so they had people on like the long white like capes, or I don't know, drapes, I guess you would call them, like a white drape, and they would spin and twirl and fucking do all that,
like
one
the
on
ribbon
each side of the
dancers or
stage,
whatever.
but like suspended in air, you know, like way up.
What Pink did on like 10 different Grammys. Remember, like you watch the Grammys and Pink would always be flying around at every Grammys, every American Music Awards. It was kind of like pre that. So Pink, I think, probably likes Fish.
That was
there.
It was
actually at the Clifford Ball. And
yeah, she was
right.
the one up on the drapes.
But no, is that today though, or is that tomorrow?
I don't. Yeah, so I was just gonna say, I honestly don't know if that was day one, day two,
shit,
or both. But I know it happened.
The flying shit, no, because Trey says during Harpoo,
I feel like the flying shit was
that everybody screwed up, that something happened, and we had something really cool planned, so we're just going to end in the middle of the song.
Well, I think that was supposed to happen in the smoke thing, right? Weren't they supposed to like word something out and it didn't work? There was like a malfunction.
Yeah, it might have been.
They had both. They had a glider plane. Wait, were they the same? Was the glider the one that was smoke writing?
Gonna figure this shit out live on
night writing. What do you call that shit?
We'll see tonight.
Yeah. And you get Amazing Grace as an encore, which again is such a wild choice for a festival setting. They go out.
And it was the second acapella, right?
That was probably the last Amazing Grace I caught.
Now, then the ultimate question is, right? Did you catch the flatbed truck set?
No.
I went back to the car afterwards and we were listening to the show. We had taped it and sucking nitrous, and all these people ran by us and said Fish is on a truck, and it was like maybe 30 cars up. I could have walked up there and caught it, and I was like, fucking, I'm sucking gas.
Did you believe them that it was actually Fish, or did you think they were just like spun out?
No, I believed them. I believed them. Yeah, I mean, it was enough people that if it wasn't, something big was happening, because a mess of people came rushing by.
See, yeah, because the band was in the lot.
I got a free balloon. It wasn't even a $40 balloon. It was the guy next to us was like, "Thanks for playing the tape." And when he passed out, we kept sucking his gas.
Yeah, but back then it was also good gas for like 3 for 20, 3 for 10, 4 for 20. Like it was, you were getting a deal for, you know, it hadn't quite got to the stage of 2.0 and 3.0 where.
Will they show the flatbed jam? This question.
Gas inflation.
Gas inflation and shitty gas.
The only thing I've seen, did they have cameras with it? The only thing I've seen is like,
this should be one of those progressive.
Yeah, no, the whole thing. Is it on?
You turn into your parents, you know, you're like, gas prices nowadays. Gas prices.
That's so expensive for shit.
A plus content right here. What plus?
Back when drugs were real. See, exactly, Andrew Duddy knows. Back when drugs were real.
The reals, Andrew. A lot of MVPs out there named Andrew, and a big Andrew Day out there in the chat. Go Andrews.
That's right.
So I know that's the first day recap, and I'm not coming on tomorrow because you have a superstar selection of guests coming on that I'm not worthy to be part of. But
if you want to come hang out, you
show up. You're always welcome. Crash the party, man.
I have a maybe perhaps never before told story about day 2. I apparently partied really hard through the day, made probably the morning into the day, and we went to the first set, and I'm talking just like hammered, like just drunk, like pounding beers all day long. Who knows? Probably doing Jello shots and fucking who knows? I'm hammered. I don't really remember. Laying out in the sun, waiting for the first set to start. And I woke up and like Susie Greenberg's playing. And I thought the show had just started. And I was like, yes, Susie, you know, and like then Susie ended and so did the set. And I was like, fuck, is it really over? So Yeah, that's my. I slept through the entire first set, the second night at the Clifford Ball, or second day because it was the day set at 3:00 or whatever.
Right, the early one.
Oh, that
I
sucks.
woke up like mid Susie, and that was it.
We got up at 6. We were up at 6 in the morning, and we ran over because they cleaned the spotter pots so we could all get dressed.
Nice. Get in there first.
Right in the field, just passed the fuck out. So
I think
That's
everybody,
great.
if you've done enough
none of the
festivals-
music or the 100,000 people woke me up. It was just
Yeah, if you've done enough festivals, you've slept through something you wish you didn't. I mean, Cypress, I made it through, but I slept through the Tower Jam at it. Speaking of like surprise sets that we missed, or I personally missed and our crew missed, I just literally passed out, and could not make it through. And again, when you are doing 17 hours of traffic getting in, and then you rage that first day,
Right.
it's hard not to, so I'm always, again, pretty amazed at the folks who are able to pull it all the way through. And these folks who saw the flatbed jam, I mean, in some ways, that's the first one of any of these, which, would make a good, gags and those things would make a pretty good bracket someday. I've heard.
Was it the fall of '95
Thanks,
that they were doing all the bluegrass sets?
Kev's like, fuck your build up.
No, I'm sorry. I was
The Evie Kevin is undefeated.
Yes, the Evie Kevin is
really good.
So good.
All right.
What
was-
were we talking about?
Bluegrass, the flatbed set.
The flatbed.
Do we know what the set list was?
Are they going to play that tonight, or is that tomorrow, or are they going to play it at all?
It would have been
They might.
tonight that they would.
They'll just leave the stream running for like an hour, and then all of a sudden it'll turn on like an hour later.
Didn't they play a
with no
show
warning or
already?
announcement about it.
Well, no, they'll put out a new YouTube link without any announcement or
Or
lead
that.
up or social media. So, like, you have to be on YouTube at that time
What
to see the link.
didn't they already do a festival for one of the dams?
They just did one night though, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
they did one
play
night, but
the second
didn't-
night of Magna Ball or something.
Okay, or one of
Am
them.
I wrong?
Yeah,
No,
one
it
of
was
something like
Magna Ball.
that.
It was Super Ball or Magna Ball.
It was Magna Ball.
I think it was
Magna
Magna
Ball.
Ball.
Yeah.
But I thought it was the first night because I was waiting
It
to
was
see
Fucker
if they
Pants.
play the.
Yeah, Fucker Pants was played.
Yeah,
Right.
it was the Magna Ball with the Fucker Pants. Yeah.
Fucker Pants won the 3.0 jam bracket, I think.
Brackets are everywhere. Yeah, they just keep coming up.
Are there any
Weird.
brackets coming up?
There may be.
Maybe.
No, actually, I'll announce it. We're almost at the end. I'm gonna announce it on Twitter too in a little bit, but we're gonna have a bracket. I'm gonna do one each month leading into March Madness. So there'll be one in December, one in January, one in February. And we're gonna start off going into MSG with the gag bracket because I just we just had Sci-Fi Soldiers and the Fuck Your Face set is one that pops into my mind, but there's been so many over the history of the band. So we're gonna look at gags, and then we got jam band brackets coming back. We're gonna have a 4.0 jam bracket, which could also be the jam of the year, depending on how you want to brand it. But I think .net probably has the Jody, so I'll go with the 4.0 jam bracket. And then we'll have the fish bracket in March. So it'll be a fun. We're back because I missed it. Like, it was cool. We had a lot of other projects going on, but I'm happy to be doing them again.
And we had some great ones this year. That Grateful Dead bracket was fire.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Looking forward.
They're always good. They're always fun. They're always
My
entertaining.
kids are making fun of me saying it was fire, just so you know.
Is that
It
a
was
young
lit.
thing to say?
It's not cool, apparently. I don't.
Or is that from your youth as a caveman? Where you're like, oh, it's fire.
Apparently, I'm too old to be saying it because it's kids lingo.
Oh,
It was lit. This is lit, baby. Lit.
Lit, yes.
That's what you're
another
supposed to
term
say.
I like to
Lit,
use.
not fire. Come on, dude.
I got turned out because I was lit.
Oh boy,
turned up, not turned out.
Out.
That's
Say these things.
that's a different thing.
Totally else.
I'm
Turned up.
disappointed.
We're getting turned up here. What plus, by the way?
I feel like we should abandoned ship or something. No,
We're so
Well,
close.
turned out-
We're close to
Time.
60 minutes.
So
The
make sure
question
you
is-
like and subscribe.
Live in 5 minutes.
Live in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's.
oh, now we're just gonna sit here for 5 minutes. Be fun.
No, I'd
It's
rather fire a lung dart down before the show starts.
But so
All right.
I'll say one more. Let me say one more thing about Pat and
course.
Krista, who are the people I went with. That Pat I knew from high school. I saw 90% of the shows I saw for the next 3 years with them. We became like a crew. If they were playing a show, we went there and we saw some of the greatest, what people call the greatest fish shows ever, just by a weird happenstance of me running into them.
Damn, llama.
Thank you, Llama.
Put you in the producer role. It's just crazy. All right, guys. I'm good. I'm gonna go upstairs and get comfy for the show.
Get ready
All
for the
right.
show.
Get
5
ready.
minutes. 5
Enjoy.
minute
Great to
warning.
be back, guys. Thank you, Waddy.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
we'll
having
see you
me.
guys
Good seeing you.
tomorrow.
Maybe.
Thanks, Paquito.
Be back tomorrow for it again. Enjoy the show tonight, guys. Have a good